And so your audience starts to potentially lose trust in you because now you're the person that will promote anything so long as the check clears, right? That trust gets destroyed, not because you did anything wrong, but because the model forces you to look like a hired gun. And first, let me break down exactly why the sponsor model is broken. So, no names, but a couple years back, we were working with a big company. Again, a big ticket item. And it's like one of those things that, you buy once and you're probably never going to buy it again. It's definitely not something that you're going to buy on a regular basis, like in one contract term. That'll make sense in a second here. But basically, we were getting this company an 8x ROI. So they were paying $1. We were getting them $8 back, at least. Okay. The sponsor was thrilled. We were thrilled. Money was flowing in every month for everyone. Then the holidays came. The ROI tanked from 8 to about 2x ROI. And you know what? Like, I tried to explain to them, like, hey, people aren't buying equipment for themselves anymore. They're buying random stuff on Amazon. They're buying gifts for loved ones because it's Christmas. Well, like, they didn't care, like, at all. Like, they took that explanation and they were like, yeah, cool story, bro. Just know that the following year, like, we're not going to re-sign with you because your ROI is no longer what it was. So obviously things are like, kind of tanking. So we're just we're out of here. We're done. That sucked because I don't remember how long the contract was. It had to have been no more than a year, but the content with like their sponsor ad read, like all of it is still out there. Like the ads, the episodes, the evergreen content with their name all over it is still out there, and it's still crushing to this day. They're still making money off of that content, but we didn't get paid anything once they didn't re-sign the contract. When you follow this method, it's basically like you rent out like a rent to own situation. Oh my God, that's exactly what it's like. You rent out a room in your house for like one lump sum of payment, or, like, hey, you got to fulfill this contract of pay. But then after the contract is over, you basically let them live there rent free forever, and you're not allowed to charge them anything because they own the equity and you own the frustration, right? That's the fundamental problem with sponsorships. Sponsors always have the leverage and they know it. Oh my gosh. And they know that you know it. The second your number dips or like their ROI doesn't match their expectations, they're gone. I saw that shit happen like multiple times. It's really upsetting. And you know what? They take nothing with them except like I'm trying to like watch myself because like there are some really, really awesome people out there that will support content creators and podcasters. But again, like there's a thin line between like being a nice person and being a business person. And unfortunately, the way the business is set up, like it just creates a really rough situation for the podcaster. And you know what, dude, like this does get worse. Like I've also seen this. Like, let's say you want to say something edgy, right? You want to challenge your audience or push back on the mainstream narrative and tell a controversial story. Your sponsor sends you an email saying like, hey man, like we need you to be more careful about how you phrase whatever you just talked about. And if you do, don't mention us in the episodes like that moving forward. So now you're second guessing yourself. You're not deciding what to talk about based on what matters to you and your audience. You're deciding based on protecting your revenue. That's another thing that happened. Again, on Power Project, we did some crazy things, and that's part of like why the audience grew so much. But I got those emails, and I got the emails that said, hey, you can't say that, or not that you can't say that. They used professional lingo, but basically saying, we didn't like that. We don't agree. We're dropping you. Yeah, I can say this. One of them, at least one of them, after we blew up like a couple of episodes later, had somebody else email us back and say like, oh, that person made a mistake and we want you back. And to our credit, we said no. So shout out to my boys, man, Mark and Nsima. That was a cool moment when we could tell somebody like, hey, no, like you guys dropped us. You're dead to us. So anyway, again, really grateful for everybody that's worked with us on that podcast. And, moving forward, if one day I start dishing out promo codes, like if Heil Sound wants to hit me up, like that might be a thing, but I'm going to tell you what you should be doing instead. Right. Because right now, like, there's also the credibility trap. Now this is super real. Like if you go all in promoting company A for 6 months with like complete conviction, then your contract ends and like they don't want to renew. So you switch to company B and then suddenly you're just as convicted. Is that the right word? No, convinced about this product, right? Your listener now hears you talk about like company A, like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And then you promote company B. It's like, okay, I thought that was the thing. And now this is the thing. And so your audience starts to potentially lose trust in you because now you're the person that will promote anything so long as the check clears, right? That trust gets destroyed, not because you did anything wrong, but because the model forces you to look like a hired gun. That shit's rough. And if you have a contract, you're locked in. They essentially own your time. You have to do the ad reads they require, right? Whatever the contract is, I've seen this multiple ways where it's like a CPM thing where they, you get them a return based off of how many people download your episodes, or hey, like we promise you 8 episode ad reads per month. Well, now you're on the hook for all of that. Even when you don't want to, right? You're essentially an employee disguised as a podcaster. That's the cage that you put yourself in. So now for the different approach, right? What happens when you sponsor yourself instead? Well, you keep 100% of the leverage. You're not dependent on anyone else's business model or quarterly earnings, right? Or like holiday shopping and all that stuff. Like you can even make your own, version of, like holiday specials or whatever. Your business isn't held hostage by their ROI expectations.